everybody. Welcome to Build Brunch, the daily morning show where we talk about the latest topics in entertainment. I'm Brittany Jones-Cooper.
I'm Shannon Coffey.
I'm Allie Colbert.
I'm Lucas Sim.
Woo, welcome.
Today we're going to talk about the biggest, most talked about moments from the annual Rockefeller Christmas tree lighting and America's love-hate relationship with reality TV. Plus, documentary filmmaker Bert Marcus joins the table to discuss his new hot project, The American Meme. And Empire star Nicole Ari Parker also stops by with some new details on the hit Fox show.
Yes, very excited for that. But first, praise be. Author Margaret Atwood is writing a sequel to her iconic dystopian novel, The Handmaid's Tale. The new book, titled The Testaments, is set 15 years after the conclusion of the original book and will be released on September of 2019. Meanwhile, season 3 of the Hulu series adaptation is underway and is scheduled to premiere in April of next year. Guys, did you read the book, the original book, anybody?
No.
I haven't.
Okay, I did, yeah. So it's funny, though, because the first season of the show very much followed the book. We know second season then had free reign to go. So it's interesting how she's gonna now write the second book. Like, what is she gonna, is she gonna follow the series now?
I think it's not gonna be about Offred. What she said, it's about 3 women 15 years after Offred's story. So I think, and I know Margaret Atwood's pretty involved actually in the show, so more so than authors actually are involved. Like the showrunner of Handmaid's Tale consulted her about season 2 storylines and stuff. So I think it's gonna follow 3 women. What I really hope it does is that I hope it explores Gilead. I'm really fascinated with like the way the show kind of mentions with like the West Coast of America, what it used to be, the Southern, like what Florida used to be. I really want to know how Gilead operates in the different parts of America, and I hope she kind of gives us that with the sequel.
I agree.
I think she will, because Margaret Atwood said that she specifically has been listening to all fan questions, and she said all your questions will be answered with this new book. So I'm like, yes.
So many questions. I also want to see more of what's happening outside of Gilead, because in the show we see that like Canada and Mexico and their relationship with trade and all of those things. But I am with you. I want to know more about Gilead and then its interaction with other countries. Because
wow, as someone who doesn't watch, this conversation sucks.
you should watch. Are you like one of 4 people not watching the show?
I am. I need to watch.
It's
I mean,
so good.
I tried watching it. It's so depressing though. Like, don't you feel like life is so depressing right now?
Real
like,
life is so depressing.
Yeah, don't you feel like that? So then you watch this and it's like, oh, that sucks too.
Because this is actually giving you like a heads up, this can happen.
Yeah.
So you better be thankful we're not there yet, and maybe fight so we don't get there.
And this is like my survival toolkit. Like, I see the things that these women are being put through, and I am now mentally prepared. I'm like, okay, if this happens to me, I'm gonna run right away. I'm gonna get my bag. I'm gonna walk to Canada. Like, I have a plan. This show has given me...
To get your bag and walk to Canada.
Yeah, no, I'm not even joking.
But also, it's really depressing, but these characters, these women are so resilient, and they are so inspiring. So when they're going through the absolute most heightened version of what we feel like we're living, it feels inspiring to me to be like, okay, you know what? At least I can go out when I want to and get my own goddamn groceries. I don't have to get some other woman her fruit. And make her baby.
Blessed be the fruit.
Like, under his eye.
Blessed be the fruit, may the Lord open. But yeah, well, I think what this show is so interesting too, this first season was made with, at least I read a lot of interviews, with everyone assuming that Hillary Clinton was gonna win the presidency, so we were gonna have a woman president. This was gonna be like, this is never gonna happen. Look, we got a woman in the White House, and meanwhile, the opposite happened. So it's a really good exploration of like what Shannon just said, of like sexism and misogyny right now in America, multiplied, and seeing how women, which last season explored on every single level, are objectified, are demeaned, are debased in every way. And it's such an interesting story of how these women grapple with that, work together, don't work together, and this show's fantastic.
That was written in 1985, which makes it so much better that Margaret wrote this in the 80s, and it is so relevant now. That's terrifying.
It blows my mind. Like, when I saw the year that I was written, I was like, wait, what? I was like, it must be that it's gonna happen, that it's gonna happen. I'm like, she is a prophet.
Well, so many of those, like 1984, like that book.
It's like Gilmore Girls was written in the 20s.
Sure. Yeah, Lorelai. During Prohibition or whatever. Yeah, no, I'm really pumped for this.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm curious because this is such and Allie, we'll move on, but we're in this conversation.
No, it's all good.
I'm curious because it's such a hard show with the cast because everybody is also like so lovable and hateable. So who are your favorite characters in Handmaids? Because it's such a
I'm gonna be controversial here. I love Aunt Lydia. That girl is crazy, but you know what? She's a core moral. She believes she's morally right. She loves babies, which is a good thing.
This is true.
She is psycho and will pluck your eye out. But you know what? I don't know. I just like her. I could hang with Aunt Lydia.
She will make you stone your best friend, but her heart's in the right place.
Heart's in the right place. Heart's in the right place.
Yeah, she knows well.
She will make
Totally.
you kill someone, but she loves your babies.
I love Uncle Blackberry. I think his character is complex.
You're being so fun in this conversation.
Yeah, you're really just
shooting us,
jabbing,
right?
like we're fans.
Yeah.
How about you?
What's the name of the girl who has she's the first one to lose her eye?
Yes. Anybody know her name? I
forget
can't
her
think of it right
name.
now.
That actress is in so many shows and so many movies, and I didn't really recognize her until she stood out in this show.
Yeah.
And I still haven't learned her name, but to me, that's a true sign of a great actress. You don't care about their name. You're you're all about the characters. She plays crazy so well.
Yeah, and you talk about resiliency, and she's the most hopeful character in this horrible situation.
So much, and she's still God has a plan for me, and I'm someone give me that faith. To lose your eye, to lose your baby, to think about killing yourself, to get on top of already this being a story about abuse, to be tricked by that husband and him pretending to love her.
Sent to the nuclear waste zone. You're God has a plan, guys. God has a plan.
But then she got out.
Yeah, so she wasn't wrong. So I'm maybe faith is a thing.
Yeah.
I love that. I have to say, Offred. Elizabeth Moss, last season, just she deserves every award that has been given to her. The scene where she's alone in the house with the baby, I won't give anything away if you haven't watched it. That episode, I felt deserved an Oscar. So.
Yeah, the scene where they're pulling her from the plane is the scene that gets me. I'm no.
This rips your heart out.
Yeah.
The show is horrible, but so good. Anyway.
Well, in more TV news, a new survey from The Hollywood Reporter shows that most Americans think there's way too much reality TV, but yet they're all still watching. According to the poll, America's Got Talent is one of the most favorable unscripted shows on TV, as well as singing competition, The Voice. But the genre is still regarded with a feeling of contempt. However, Keeping Up with the Kardashians and The Real Housewives are the least liked shows despite the high ratings on their networks.
This is a case of I love you, but I don't like you very much.
This is the Katy Perry effect. How can you make the most money and be the worst?
Yeah.
Well,
that's exactly it.
I think people forget that hate is still energy that you're putting out into the universe.
Oh, yeah.
So the more time, if you hate watch something, that's still a view. If you talk shit about someone, you're still talking about them. You're still giving them power. So it's just kind of the people who hate reality TV are the people who fuel it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also think there's still yes, of course there's a lot of crappy reality TV out there, but there's also a lot of crappy scripted shows out there too.
Oh, yeah.
I think reality TV, there's a shame to it that you can't really admit to liking it because it's a lesser art form or whatever. But if you look at the history of reality TV, from Survivor to The Real Housewives, and they've replaced a lot of traditional programming. I mean, there's a lot of value to them. I mean, I'm not just saying this because I was on Watch What Happens Live last night, but I love the Housewives. They're fun. They bring a lot of personality. Some do good things, some don't. But that's with everyone. I think I like watching these women just live their lives and be crazy.
But for me, there's such a difference between what is reality. When I see The Voice or America's Got Talent, to me, that's clearly reality. When I see something like Real Housewives or Keeping Up with the Kardashians, that is a scripted reality. It's heavily produced, and I think that's where some of the shame comes from, because you're I'm signing up to watch this. I know it's not real, but I'm still taking so much pleasure from it. So I think that's where at least some of my guilt comes from.
I still have a hard time believing that the Kardashians is totally scripted. It's just those women can't act. I don't even know that they can read. They can't memorize scripts. They're all stunted.
It's not scripts. It's bullet points.
Yeah.
So it'd be this morning, if Max was okay, Brittany, you're gonna spill your tea. Shannon, you're gonna get triggered because you hate wet paper. Then Allie, you're gonna make fun of her in some way. And Lucas, you're just gonna look hot.
Do you think it's that orchestrated?
I do.
I think
Yes,
they're
100. It is.
I do 100%.
And there's no question about it.
Okay, you're gonna go to Kim's house and try on baby clothes for Mason's gonna try on baby clothes. They can't. How could they remember anything? They're on drugs. I don't.
Well,
Not anymore, Allie.
Yeah,
Not
they
anymore.
were.
That was
I don't know that they could
Depending on the network requires some production companies to soft script their shows before seasons start. So like we know that Kim is gonna go to this party and Courtney's gonna have the baby here and Kylie's gonna have this lip gloss here and that's where the season's gonna go.
Yeah.
Some shows, and Bravo is more like it's more expensive, but they'll like film for 6 months and they'll film everything. Yes, the producers would be like, you're gonna go to lunch with Leanne, Brandy, and they hate each other. That's gonna happen. And yes, they'll be like, they'll probably be like, Stephanie, throw a big end of the year party. Every season has to end with that. So it's scripted in that sense.
Yeah.
But Bravo's not, no one can script prostitution.
No, exactly.
Like no one can do that, but it's on different levels of, you know,
reality.
Reality scripted,
It's enjoyable.
Yeah, it is. With that said, I personally love The Voice. Anybody else watch? I can, no, just me.
Woo, one person.
Cool, just me. I love watching like real people pursue their dreams and get validation from really successful artists. And for me, that's so gratifying.
Right.
The Voice just, unlike the Kardashians, feels like the same thing over and over again. I know the Kardashians feels like a repeat, but The Voice is like literally the same exact. I'm just like, okay, this ugly person looks like they can't sing. They can sing. You know what I mean? They just,
Is that the log line for their show?
No, it's just like, oh my God, this woman who looks like she can't sing actually can sing, and it's like, that's it.
Allie pitching The Voice. It's
It's just like everyone has a sad story, and then they can sing. I don't know.
Well, that's
like,
I think
hey,
people
we
like
could all sing.
America's Got Talent because they just like people being like, oh, it's the not attractive person or person who has a lot of whatever problems in their life and golden buzzer, woo!
Yeah.
Which I guess people like feeling that goodness, right?
I think that's
like
what it is
feeling
for
good.
me. I like the goodness.
It's the anti-Handmaid's Tale
that is nice.
in a way.
Yeah, you need a little boost every now and then to like at least the concept of like if I try a little bit, maybe my dreams will come true and I'll get out of this living hell that keeps burning every little ounce of hope that I have. You know, these shows do provide something good.
Yeah.
Wait, are you guys not going through that?
You don't think that when you
No.
watch?
Do you ever watch like other types of reality TV? Like I really like this show called Small Spaces, Big Dreams.
No.
That
Did you
sounds
watch
great.
it?
No, I don't know what it
It's
is.
so cute. It's this guy, his name is Monty Don, and he's this like, he looks like, he's a huge man. He's so big and like dopey, and he's always walking around, and he goes to people's houses who have small gardens, and he helps them like create the garden of their dreams. Like sometimes people have like a nasty little corner that's not, it's just like pavement, and he like inspires them to make it into something, and it's so beautiful and so sweet. I love it
TLC?
so much. No, I don't know.
It sounds like a TLC.
It's not on TLC.
TLC is always
I watch
stuff
it
like
on
that.
Netflix. It's a UK show.
Oh,
check that
that's
out.
sweet.
TLC shows are my
TLC
favorite
is
reality
like,
shows.
you want this rock to be your pet? Well, make it a pet. And we're like, what?
But TLC also has like little people, tall people, big people, like,
Tree
and
man.
that's why I love it though.
Man
I
who
love
eats
TLC
tables.
shows because it shows all these different life experiences, and there's so
Learning
much
Channel.
heart.
Oh, I
love
always
that.
forget.
Remember, we went over this. You didn't know
I
what
always
TLC
forget
meant.
that it's the Learning Channel.
Yeah.
I always think it's Tender Love and Care.
Yeah.
That's a
We've gone
different
over that on
network.
the show.
Yeah.
That's a different.
Yeah.
Remember the woman who liked to smell and eat dirty diapers?
No,
she
I
was
don't.
so
There was
funny.
that show, What was that show where they had people with like weird
The woman
addictions?
who ate her own couch.
Yeah. That to me makes more sense. Like I'd eat a couch before I eat a dirty diaper. I
Me
think.
too.
Co-sign, yeah.
I would eat a couch for you don't have to force me to eat a couch.
Yeah, I know. You're already eating couches.
I'll eat a couch.
Yeah. We need to get new chairs all the time.
I eat couches. A diaper?
That's
gross.
too far.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that was the perfect segue. Now it is time for our first guest. Bert Marcus is a documentary filmmaker who's produced many transformative films throughout his career. Today, he's here to talk about The American Meme, a film that he wrote, directed, and produced, which sheds light on the mental toll celebrities take on in order to stay relevant. The film features Paris Hilton, DJ Khaled, Haley Baldwin, Emily Ratajkowski, and more. Everyone, please give a warm Build Brunch welcome to Bert Marcus.
Lucas, nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Hey.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Welcome to the table.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Thanks for joining us. So, tell us what was your inspiration behind The American Meme?
I think, what I've noticed over the last few years, as I'm sure you guys have as well, is there's been such a massive cultural shift that we've been experiencing. And I think as connected as we all are, and we all have our smartphones and our iPhones, it seemed to me, just observing being born and bred in LA, that as connected as we are, we kind of are isolated, and there's this feeling of like depression and anxiousness that a lot of people have, or trying to compete with people, and making sure this feeling that we're not good enough or doing enough. So I found it kind of ironic because we are as connected as ever to anybody in the world, and just by picking up your phone. But at the same time, there's this sense of isolation, depression, anxiety that a lot of people are experiencing right now. So I figured it was an interesting time to kind of capture this moment through some really well-known protagonists who have made these great kind of profiles and caricatures on social media, and kind of experience it with them, because the line between kind of reality and fiction is so blurred now.
Yeah, totally. We were just talking about that
Yeah.
reality TV. But how did you then go about choosing which influencers to sort of profile?
I mean, it wasn't like a simple thing. We actually started interviewing like just a bunch of people that I knew, and people that I felt like had really, nice big followings, and interesting characters, and trying to get behind how do they build their brand, how do they build this online persona. And what was interesting as we started following them more and more was that even for them, a lot of people had built this character, but now even for them, they're now like, that line is blurred of like who they are versus their online persona.
Oh.
And that was what was kind of fascinating about like filming for the amount of time that we did, which is, it was a very candid look behind it. And so, it gets, the highs are high and the lows are low.
I think that's the case, especially for someone like the Fat Jewish, who like is a character, not his real name, on Instagram, and like becomes this different persona. I'm sure in his real life, it's like hard to decide who he truly is.
Yeah, I think it's always tough. I mean, someone like Josh, he was lucky enough and smart enough to have the, to kind of foresee where this was going. And, he has the mentality that, this is a fleeting job, and he treats it like that. So what he's done is, other than, the persona he's created, he's really, he branched off into the alcohol world and really created something that was tangible that he's going to leave with this. And, he's very, very smart, and was able to kind of get out of that realm of being just like stuck into a character. Because even if his character were to go away, he still has something to take away with him. And I think what's interesting is some of these characters don't. And so following them and seeing, because they're all so talented in their own right. And we were lucky enough just to have such a great cast that was forthright and vulnerable, and gave us kind of unlimited and unprecedented access. So it was really, I'm very grateful and thankful to such a phenomenal cast. It was a lot of fun. I think it will be a trip for people to watch, because it's very different than just what we know about a lot of these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's being an influencer seems like it's all just fun and riches and people giving you likes, but obviously there's a darker aspect to this. So what did you discover making this film? Like, what was maybe like the hardest thing for them?
I think like I said, when the highs are high, everything's so great, but then there's like this reality where you come home and you're alone, and you have to figure out who you are and where this is going to go. And I think as a career path, I mean, we're in a day and age where people, you ask people what they want to do or what they want to be, and it's famous. Yeah. And you're like, okay, for what? And so I think that's what was kind of drew me to this too. Being born, and raised in LA, a lot of people move for that reason. And I think, people aren't like kind of, I want to be an actor, or I want to be, I want to be a thespian actor, or I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. I mean, you used to perfect a craft to gain recognition. And now it's, one shot on your cell phone, and, you can get that recognition in 5 seconds. So I think, the lows become low when people are alone and they're trying to figure out what to do with their life after this. And some people, when you have this online presence, where do you go? Because if you're spraying champagne on girls at all the clubs and all these, it's online, it's there for everybody. And so how do you get a job after that? And how do you...
It was hard for me.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. This is an intervention for Alex.
The whole movie was made for that. Yeah. So no, it was a real trip, and I mean, it's a wild ride, and it was, shocking to just make, to be honest. But I think an important film, and hopefully something that I think a lot of people would be able to relate to on many, many levels, because it's fun, it's entertaining, and that's the purpose. It's a movie. But it's real, and it's definitely dark, but it's something that I think we can all relate to.
Mm-hmm. You said you were born and raised in LA.
Yeah.
So how did you get access to all of these people? Are these people you went to high school with? Did you kind of grow up in this culture?
I definitely knew some people growing up, but you know, my background's in radio and film, and you know, throughout the years, I was able to cultivate some great relationships with a lot of music people, so who appear in the film and were gracious enough to give us their music for the movie. But yeah, a lot of it was through personal relationship, because it's very difficult to gain the trust of people to give, you know, this is their real life, so they're not kind of putting on an act. You know, similar to what you guys are saying about your reality show, this is very different because this is not produced like that. This is literally like a small camera following someone around at all times, and then they had no rights as far as like what we show or what we don't show. And yeah, and so I think that's why I give them a lot of credit, because it was a very brave thing for, you know, the entire cast to do, to be so honest and so real, because there's, you know, there's a lot of negative things even about them that's shown, but what's great is that, you know, they're honest about it and want to get that across, because it strikes up such an important conversation.
Definitely.
Wow, was there anything that you cut out that was negative, that you're like, I'm not gonna share this, it's too much, even though you could?
I think we tamed some of it so that it could be, you know, Netflix friendly, but it's definitely, I would say, it's uncensored, and it's I think very jaw dropping and shocking at times. Even to make a film like this, you realize, I think even the characters, that when they watch the movie, they're like, wow, like I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe that was me, and you know, when they were watching it at the premiere, yeah. And so I think that's when it gets kind of interesting, and even hitting me up being, yeah, I think they've kind of assessed their lives in different ways, some of them.
Wow.
What
And
was
some of them
the
don't.
filming schedule like for, I know reality TV can be tolling, I mean, what was the schedule like for each of these people?
In all honesty, we just had a camera on them at all times, and you know, not all of them, but you know, the main characters, and really were able to have a real sense of their life, and a sense of them, like their personal life, their emotional state, their mental state, because it definitely changed throughout the course of filming. You know, we filmed over a long period of time, and you know, it's interesting to see the inner workings of this. We all see, you know, you can pick up the phone and see these profiles and all these things, but like I said, it's such a blurred line between social media is what we want everyone to see, right? And so and it's supposed to be quote unquote real. But obviously we know that there's a lot that's put into that, and it's not necessarily real.
Well, you made a lot of great documentaries. It seems like you're kind of always on the cutting edge of like examining culture right now. You made Teenage Paparazzo, which I loved, and I was examining paparazzi culture through like a teenage paparazzo, which was incredible. But you also did What We Started, which came out on Netflix this past summer.
Yeah.
You had like Usher and Ed Sheeran and Tiesto, like really looking at EDM music. So what made you decide to go do that documentary?
Yeah, What We Started, which is on Netflix, was I had a lot of friends that were in that industry, in that space, and you know, a lot of DJ friends, and everyone was like, there hasn't really been a film that has done justice to our industry. Everything's so promotional about a particular artist or festival, or always pushing something. And so I'm kind of an outsider to that world. I'm obviously not a famous DJ, and I'm not like trying to pursue that career, although I should have. You know, with a name like Bert, I need all the help I can get. Yeah. So I should have done that. But
DJ Bert.
Yeah, listen, I have my publicist, my man, everything in him.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
He's leaving the show after this. He's working for me.
Yeah.
Or with me.
I will, gladly.
So,
Thanks, Luke.
no, you're welcome, guys.
Take them away.
So I think the inspiration for that was like, how do we, you know, electronic dance music is such a rich history, and it's been around like 30 plus years. And I think a lot of people don't know that, and didn't know like the pioneers and the people who originated the music. And all we know are, you know, kind of the big DJs of today, which are, you know, they're major pop stars. And so we took basically the Martin Garrix is our main lead, and then Carl Cox, who's essentially like the Bruce Springsteen of electronic dance music, a guy who plays 10 to 12-hour sets, yeah, without a break.
Wow.
Literally, they bring him a couple beers, a couple slices of pizza, he takes one bathroom break. I mean, he starts at 9 and finishes at 9 a.m. And people come out from all over the world to see him, and Carl's a true legend and a pioneer, and you know, I urge everyone to listen to his music and his story, because he's an incredible person and really paved the way for all these artists. But we basically juxtaposed him and Martin Garrix, the complete polar opposite, a kid who was a bedroom DJ and, you know, made millions of dollars from literally like his bedroom. You know, his dad was helping him kind of get equipment, and so he has such an interesting story, and it's kind of showing like how the generations were different, and we juxtaposed a 30-year history between the two of them, who were complete polar opposites. They met for the first time on our filming of the, you know, the project. So it was an interesting project and a lot of fun, and we traveled the world with them. And even if you're not into electronic dance music, I think it's, which I wasn't originally, I urge people to, you know, check it out, because it's, you gain such an appreciation for the music and for these artists, and I think see a completely different side.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to take a look. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you guys.
You can check out The American Meme on Netflix coming soon, you guys.
December 7th.
December 7th.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. The iconic Rockefeller Christmas tree is officially lit, and we couldn't be more excited. The annual holiday celebration kicked off last night and was accompanied by major performances from music icons including Diana Ross, EGOT winner John Legend, and many more. Let's take a look.
Here we go. Let's start it off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Like that tree! Yeah!
Trees.
It's just
my
such
God.
an amazing television event, how excited people get about this like gigantic tree being lit up. Yeah! We've never seen this before except for the past 100 years. Wow.
I've gone once, and it is very, like, when you're there, you're like, I can't wait, and then they light it, and you're like, it's a tree! And then you immediately have to, like, fight through thousands of people to get to the train.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you worked at 30 Rock, I've worked at 30 Rock, and like leaving 30 Rock when that tree is up is like going through all 7 layers of hell. It's like, oh my God. What?
It's horrible
It's
when you
horrible.
work there, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is a beautiful tree.
It's so nice. I love the
Trees.
holidays because Christmas trees are there, and then cats always like to attack Christmas trees. And this event always makes me imagine either like if we could throw like a bunch of cats there, or like get mountain cats and have mountain cats play with it. I think it would elevate the event.
Okay.
And then, you know, the weak tourists might get mauled.
I saw a meme online about like, this is a Christmas tree for cats, and it was like a bear tree with like something on top. And I didn't get it, but now that you're saying that, it's because cats like pick at all the
Yeah, they just love it. There was this meme of a new meme that came out last week that was a photo of a cat, and someone was interviewing it, and they were like, you know, you don't have to destroy a Christmas tree, right? And then it was like, excuse me? It's like, that's what I have to do every year. It's my whole point of existing.
What do they do? Pick off all the...
Oh, they do. Yeah, they want the ornaments. The ornaments are like hanging toys for them. They just want to eat it. They want to knock it down. They want to get to the star and wobble it down and crash it onto anything, ruin your TV, maybe crush a baby.
Yeah, who knows? Cats,
Yeah.
mischievous creatures.
Yeah.
This tree, though, which I did not know, is named Shelby. Has a name.
Wow.
So call her Shelby when you meet her.
Shelbs.
She's 75 feet tall and was donated from this family in upstate New York. They're donated. They're not, like, you don't
Yeah.
buy them, which is
that's
interesting.
nice.
And, like, it's highly protected. Like, the president probably only thing more guarded in this tree or whatever. But, yeah, and then it's donated to Habitat Humanity afterwards, which is pretty cool.
What
My
do they
favorite
do with
part
it?
every
They
year.
build a door with it? I don't know.
Habitat for... What are they gonna do?
They build things with
That
it.
checks
Use the
out.
wood.
They build homes, so
Yeah.
they use the wood to build homes.
But it's not enough to build a home, but
that.
like they could build like,
Yeah, they
like
can-
shutters or a door.
It's wood. They
Yeah, it's
build
wood.
homes with it.
Oh,
I just
okay.
thought homes were always there. You know, we didn't think about
You
that,
know
right,
what?
Allie?
My privilege is just
Yeah.
like getting to my head.
What's Habitat?
What's
What's humanity?
To follow up on what you said, my favorite part of this season is the local news when they do the story about the tree, and I always watch watch it. And it is like this family, like this was their tree. It was in their yard. They loved it. And some scout just comes and says, I want it. And then they have to like agree to give up their tree for the world.
But do you imagine that reality show? Like the judge is like, I want the trees, like you zoom to the tree, and then the confessional tree's like just silent.
That could be called Tree for Me? Question.
Oh.
And the other trees that didn't make it are like,
That's like the bachelor almost.
yeah.
Auf
Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
You are the weakest link.
And I have to give a shout out, Diana Ross killed it last night.
You know how I feel.
A
Diana
medley
Ross
of
is
songs.
like up NBC's ass. Is she in need of work?
Do not talk about Diana Ross
But
in
she
this
was
way.
just, I'm sorry,
Excuse me.
her and her whole family were on the Thanksgiving Day parade and this. Is she good?
She graced them with her
Did
presence.
you say, is she good?
No, but like, why is she doing this?
She's Diana Ross.
But she doesn't need to do this.
She's an icon. It's why we see Tony Bennett's ass out every year. Like, he's iconic. Like,
Calm down.
stumbled a
I
little
don't
bit
think
last
she's that an icon. I just think it's odd the 2 big appearances she's doing in like 5 days. Like, she doesn't need to do it.
Well, maybe she's working on something with NBC. That
Clearly
could
something's going on with NBC. I'm sorry, just use your producer.
but like, that's everybody. Like, John Legend has a show.
I'm not attacking Diana Ross!
John Legend had a show with Chrissy Teigen as well. He also performed. So I think at this time of year, they bring on, and they do contracts. So they have to do a certain amount of shows, and they get paid a lot of money. Diana Ross, though, for me, is my forever queen. I love seeing her out.
Legend. She sang Home, too, which is incredible here. But what's funny, I remember the year when Mariah Carey did this and was late. And, like, that's the year when Ariana Grande covered All I Want for Christmas Is You, and everyone kept replaying. I'm like, this is so mean to Mariah. Because Mariah was like, remember that was the, oh my God,
it was the isolated track.
Oh my God.
Wait, did you see what Mariah Carey posted last night?
With her kids?
With her kids in the
So
background,
cute.
singing the backgrounds for All I Want for Christmas.
Yeah.
And her kids, she calls them Rock and Roll.
Yeah. They're Monroe and Moroccan.
I know, but it's rock and roll, like rock and roll.
rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
I love that even Mariah Carey's kids are subjected to like All I Want for Christmas Is You nonstop during the holiday season.
Yeah.
The little girl was hitting those background vocals.
She better be.
Oh, that video looked cute, but you know when that video cuts, she's like, you're gonna sing it when I say! And she's just like a nightmare. Like, she hates that song. She's talked about it, she hates that song. But then she's like, guys, I'm high on Benadryl, so let's film this.
Where's my hot tea?
And they're like, Mama, don't hit us. Okay.
But she's a legend too.
Mariah Carey, sponsor us.
She's a legend
The
too.
sad thing is she probably is watching. She's so random, she probably is watching and she's like, what's that girl's name? Nelly? She's gonna end you and tomorrow we're like,
You saw me, I didn't say anything about Mariah. I was like, she's watching.
That's like 17 #1 hits, one of the most successful artists ever.
No, she's
Mariah
amazing.
Carey's
I
amazing.
love her.
We love her.
It's
I
too
love
late.
you. I love you.
Too late.
Please.
You're gonna be strapped into a car seat in the back of her car in like 2 hours. You're done.
And
You're hating on Mariah and Diana in the same
in
show.
the background of her music videos, like, oh.
You're gonna be forced to watch Glitter on repeat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you sit with the decisions you made about Mariah, okay?
I feel bad.
And now we're gonna move on to our guest. Actress and model Nicole Ari Parker currently stars as the scheming and sultry Giselle in Fox's hit drama series Empire, set within the glamorous and sometimes dangerous world of hip-hop music. The show, now in its 5th season, revolves around the head of a music empire and the battle for his throne. Let's take a look.
So here's how I see it, Jeff. I run Empire, or tomorrow's front page tells the world about the littlest lion cub.
Eldest.
Oh, sorry.
I don't like to be blackmailed. I've got to give it to you. You've opened my eyes to exactly what the 2 of us would be capable of together.
These are a lot of words, Jeff, and I just need one. Yes or no.
Yes, with a caveat. Be my co-CEO. I've laid a whole lot of landmines around here, and you are going to step in all of them without my help. But together, we can run Empire and destroy Lucius Lyon. Thick or thin, sink or swim. Deal?
What's the company policy about drinking champagne before noon?
Everyone, please help me welcome Nicole Ari Parker.
Hi.
How are you, today?
I'm really good. It's good to be back in New York.
Yes.
I went to NYU, so like back in the day, yeah.
So did we.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Tisch. Did
Yes,
you go to Tisch? Yeah.
Tisch, yeah.
I went to Tisch.
This is like the most amount of school spirit NYU kids have. You too? Cool.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right.
I love this. Well, let's talk about Empire
Yeah.
because I'm a huge fan of the show. I think the table's a big fan of the show. And this season, you're a series regular.
Okay, let's start with the fact that it's 5th season.
Fifth season.
Like in
Yeah.
today's world, like we need to give
That's
a round of
amazing.
applause.
Also,
Yeah.
and still like #1 drama for Fox.
Yeah,
It
it's,
is-
yeah.
And
It's
continuing with like original storylines
Yes.
and things. Like I was just talking with the storyline with Kingsley, like I didn't see it coming.
Well, I got a call last year when they were in season 4 saying, do you want to play Forrest Whitaker's ex-wife for like 2 days? I was like, yes. I mean, he's an Oscar winner. I didn't even blink to work with Taraji and Terrence. I mean, it was just a big yes. But then they like you said, the storyline got more complicated, and now I'm a regular in season 5, and I'm like deeply in there, like with the drama and the scandal. And everybody wants Cookie and I to fight.
I'm waiting for it.
Well, I don't know if it's going to happen. You know, Taraji and I were talking about, like, why do women always have to be, like, in a cat fight,
Fair.
right? So they're playing around with some ideas. I can't tell you what's
But I
going
think
to
it's because you guys are such powerful women.
Exactly.
though.
Yes.
And it's like you guys are respectful, 3-dimensional, powerful women that it's more like we want, just you guys are the best. So like we want to see you guys go head to head.
Yeah, go head to head,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, they might dip and dab in that storyline, but I don't know. But, you know, I'm one of those characters, which is very fun for me to play somebody you kind of hate but kind of understand. You know, she got jerked around by her husband, got all these financial problems dumped in her lap, was given an opportunity, and she ran with it. And yes, she's, you know, overstepping some boundaries there. So,
Well,
yeah.
she showed him also.
But there's a lot of twists and turns.
There's a lot.
I know.
But even, you know, this storyline going on with Kingsley, like that's a major, you're a part of one of the, I think the most major storyline of the season, really.
Right.
So how
You
does that
guys
feel?
know about who he is now,
I
right?
do know. I don't know if everybody else
I don't know. I don't
knows.
want to ruin it for people, but
Yeah.
has a big turning point in revealing who his character is.
Yeah.
And I hold it over his head because the whole thing could come crashing down. And this season finale, this mid-season finale, is next Wednesday, December 5th. We're live right now, right?
Yes.
Yes. So next Wednesday. Sorry for that. Is a huge reveal.
Right.
I just can't tell you.
It's good though, guys.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's good to be back in New York and just because the show's set in New York
Yeah.
too. We shoot it in Chicago, but
Right.
it's set in the music industry in New York, and the clothes are fabulous.
So dope. Yeah. The wigs are fabulous.
The wigs are fabulous. The makeup is fabulous. I'm having a good time.
Fabulous show and great writing too. When I worked at Imagine, I was always impressed by the writers and producers behind that show. It's the
Yeah.
top-notch talent of people making Empire. It is just like amazing.
Yeah, it's going full throttle. Like every day we sit around, I mean, once a week we sit around like this and do a table read, and everybody's turning the page, like, you know, getting the script for that episode. Am I still alive? Am I getting pushed down the stairs?
Anything can happen.
Am I sleeping with Lucius?
Yeah.
You know, like there's all kinds of crazy
I think
stuff.
every question Empire, everyone,
ever
am I
ask.
sleeping with Lucius?
Yeah.
Every person is like, that
Fair.
could happen.
It could happen.
Hopefully not as
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
You never know.
Very exciting role. What is something that you try to factor in when you're choosing your roles?
I try to do stuff that's different. Like I got very lucky with this role that I don't ever play a villainous kind of woman. I never get to play that. Powerful and glamorous. So, you know, I like to do things that are different, that are challenging. But also, you know, I have kids and I have to think about, you know, being away from them and how to make that work. And I have 2 kids. I can't believe it. I blinked. I was at NYU 5 minutes ago. And my husband is an actor too, so we have to work out those schedules.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you starred in a film with your husband last year, Downsized.
Yes.
What was that like working with him?
Well, I met him
Again.
on Soul Food.
Yeah.
And we met. Oh, you have a picture. I met him on a TV show. And I know it's so cliche, actors who fall in love on a set, right? But we've been married for 13 and a half years.
Wow.
That's
Thank
100 years of Hollywood time.
That's like 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, people ask us to speak on like relationship panels because like we must know something. I'm like, he doesn't listen to me. He's like every husband in the whole world.
Right.
But you know, we stuck it out. We did it. I mean, it's it's a lot of work. Anybody who's married with kids, you guys don't have any kids yet, right?
No.
You don't know.
But you guys thrive together. Like, he's on Station 19, you're on Empire,
Yes.
you're both on these network shows at the same time. I mean, it feels like you bring out the best probably in each other.
Oh, yeah, we try. We try. Yep, we do. And then the kids just juggling their schedules because they're 12 and 13 now, and so they've got friends and parties.
Do they have opinions on the characters you guys play?
No, you know, that's a great question. We are really like low-key at home. My kids aren't in like the Hollywood scene at all. We wanted them to have the most normal childhood as possible, and let them find out who they are, not in the shadow of their parents, whatever. I mean, they get a few perks. They get to go to like Spider-Man premiere every now and then, but yeah, we're just winging it, just like everybody else. You know, trying to do the best we can, but it's fun. Yeah, he's home, so it's great. They were not without their parents. Everyone's always like, so what about the kids?
Right.
And I'm
Who's
like,
watching?
Who's watching? I'm like, oh, I just left them some Cheerios and a cell phone. The dog's there.
You mentioned that you and Taraji have talked a bit, and everyone of course loves Taraji P. Henson. She's amazing. Can you tell us anything funny you guys have done on set? Anything? I know it's Empire, very intense. Is there something you guys do to keep it light and fun?
Well, I've really become friends with Gabby.
Oh
who
my
plays
God!
Becky, yes.
Oh, Gabby Simmer is amazing.
And
Great on that show.
Becky has like some amazing lines in that show.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. But you know, I'm kind of the new girl. I'm walking into a family for real. They've been together for 5 seasons. And even though I've known Terrence and Taraji for a very long time, it's still like, you know, I'm making my way around. And you know, the reality of shooting, it's a 14-hour day. Everybody's just trying to work, but everyone still loves it, and you know, really doing the work and making the stories come to life.
I always see so many playful Instagram photos from the cast.
I know.
Like,
a lot
you
of
guys are
shenanigans.
Acting up, yeah.
Love it.
Yes.
Previously, when you've spoken about your character on Empire, you said that her life mimics that of the lives of women today, specifically working women.
Yes.
Could you expand on that?
Well, Giselle was kind of one of those people that worked in the music business. She, you know, sometimes you're hurled into a situation and then you learn everything. Like, you start to learn the business. You go from being the host to the producer. You know, sometimes a project is dropped in your lap and you've got to think outside the box quickly to keep your job, even if it's out of your wheelhouse. You know, as young women, we are constantly proving our worth and how much we bring to the table. And so she was like a stylist who married a mogul and, you know, didn't really, you know, have any like thing given to her. Like, she had to work and work and work. And then she ended up being a manager. And then before you know it, her husband, she helped build his empire. And then he double-crossed her, tried to get rid of the evidence. He had a little accident. She let it happen. And now she's running Empire. You know, so
has the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, so she just kind of like made the best of her situation. She got her hustle on. It did take a little bit of a left turn, but I think that it represents how we have to constantly, not just 100, we put 110% into our job. You know, we are judged differently still, and that's just the reality. And you know, we have to have that resilience and drive, and so that's what I meant when I said that about her representing a lot of women. And I don't think she has kids. Like, there was kind of a mention, you know how TV does that? Like, I have to pick up the kids. And then 2 seasons later, there's you never meet the kids. So I'm not really sure if I have kids. But it really represents like that woman who chose her career over, you know, building a big family. So.
And we see you on Empire, but is there anything else fun that we can look out for you in?
Well, it's funny, when you're an actor, you shoot stuff and then it comes out later. So I'm Dying Up Here. I did a full arc on Showtime's I'm Dying Up Here. Amazing show, set in the 70s, the comedy world, coming up. And now I'm on The Romanovs on Amazon. Yes, I got to work with Diane Lane. It was really, really fun. So I was shooting all these things at the same time, shooting Empire. So it looks like I'm on like 80 networks right now.
Literally.
And I do still find time for my children.
Yeah, where are those kids?
But I know, where are the kids again? No, so yeah. And you know, my husband and I do a lot of charity work. I have a business. I made a sweatband.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. I need to send you guys
Please
some.
do.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I made a sweatband for women who spend a lot of money on their hair and then they want to like work out, and outdoor athletes who want to just catch the sweat. I made a band called the Gym Wrap. and I'm now in like 4 stores. Like I made it. Like it's not like I want to tell all the young people out there who are like think they have an idea but they don't have a trademark or a website or a manufacturer. Like I did it all, and it was awesome. And now I'm in like 4 stores nationwide and online. I don't know if I can say. Can I say Gym Wrap?
Go for it.
GymWrap.com.
Yeah, go for it.
I've seen the Gym Wrap I saw from the beginning, and I've seen the way you've grown. So like, kudos to you. And thank you so much for joining us today. You can catch new episodes of Empire Wednesdays at 8/7 Central on Fox. That's all from us today. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same table.